I'm going to do this rather quickly today. As I mentioned before, you cannot mix the message given to Paul, the secret given to Paul, with what was given to the other people, the other apostles. They don't mix. For example, you can't, under any circumstance, mix James with Paul's writings or what Paul is teaching. When we were young and still in Clovis, and we did the youth for, the entire time we were there. But we would have Bible studies with our seniors, and it would be on the book of James every year. And we called them our Do Something Bible studies, because that's what the book of James deals with. James deals with, hey, you say you have faith, but basically, what are you doing? And so I'm very familiar with that and why people teach that, because I did it year after year after year. That's what we did. Do something. But when you see the message given to the Apostle Paul, it is different. It's just different than the message given to everybody else, because it's for a different group. And it is this time period that it is applicable for. Now, don't get me wrong, as I mentioned the other day, once we get past the kingdom, once the kingdom of Christ has come and gone on the earth, even those who have come through that, they will ultimately learn of the grace of God, because that is the message. There is no other message. The grace of God. But you cannot mix these things together. And since that's what the church, and I use that word like this, because that's the church that people think of, it's why the deception is the deception. If I say the word church to you, you immediately think of that building and those people that show up there at 11 o'clock on Sunday. But when that word is used in Scripture, ecclesia, called out from, the group that's called out from has nothing to do with that building and nothing to do with those people. Okay? Those people are not the called out ones that Paul is talking about in Galatians and Ephesians. It's not those people. It's this small group. God is always working through a remnant, a small group who represent the whole. And again, you can't be confused with those things. But that's the nature of deception. Every single person, every single one of you thinks, when I say the word church, you think of that building and those people. And you equate them with something that they're not meant to be equated with. That's another topic. But just to show you the difference between what Paul is talking about, what the risen Christ gave to Paul, versus what James and John and Peter and all of them are teaching. They're completely different. For example, I would say to you, and this is going to shock you, but again, what's new, right? Why would I need to ask God for forgiveness for anything? According to Romans, I'm justified. God has declared me to be justified, just, right. Why would I have to ask for forgiveness when I'm right? That's the power of God's grace. Why would I need to be born again? I'm a new creation. You see, these things cannot be mixed. And when you mix them, you destroy them. It's like when Jesus said, you can't put new wine in old wineskins, because the new wine will expand. The old wineskin will not be able to handle that, and it will spill out and all will be lost. You can't mix these things. In fact, for you, as you go through this journey, you can't mix what you knew about God yesterday with what God is showing you today. You have to put it in a new wineskin with a new understanding. It just doesn't get piled in with everything you've known before. And that's the difficult thing, because people, they just pile them all together. They mix everything together, and you know, it's like, and Brooke asked me this the other day. She was talking about being lukewarm. And she says, well, you know, lukewarm is bad. I said, yes. I mean, better to be hot or cold. She said, but she didn't quite understand. She didn't quite understand everything about it, because what God hates is a mixture. Don't mix things together. A little leaven leavens the whole lump. A little false teaching mixed with some good teaching produces what? False teaching. It doesn't, you don't have some mixture that is good. Truth mixed with lies is not truth. That's should be fairly obvious, but anyway, these things can't be mixed. And I know that's difficult, because you want to hang on to the things that you knew yesterday. And I'll finish with this. You know, when God overwhelmed me back in 2005, within 2 or 3 months, people in, you know, because I was still in the church system at the time, because that's what I'd grown up with. But people understood there was something different about me. And when they would talk, they would ask me things, and I would say, well, God tore down my belief system. And people, they never can read between the lines, because if they had been able to do that, they would have understood, well, wasn't your belief system the same one that I have right now? Because, that's what happened. God tore that down. What they believed, he tore that down. But the fact was, that was really a prophetic statement that I didn't even understand at the time, because God had not torn my belief system down at that time. But as you know from talking with me, he has torn down every single thing that I used to believe. There's not one thing that I grew up believing that I believe now. He tore my entire belief system down. And we started again. And you're not going to get anywhere believing what you used to believe, because you've been in a world of deception. So, okay. I love you all.